We already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots.
In Delaware, the largest growth in population is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
In Trump Towers, he said he was doing it before he hit the ground floor. Remember what he said? He said, I'm going to take on those rapist Mexicans. Then he claimed, no, there's never been a president.
That's a lie, Joe.
Never been a president.
That's a lie.
Oh, it is a lie.
Yeah. And it was your son in the Ukraine. All right.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah. You're the one that offered to withhold $1 billion. The Council of Foreign Relations.
True international effort to pressure. True international effort to pressure.
Other than the fact that they still call me boy, I think they've changed their mind a little
bit. Swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Welcome back. In part one of the Biden crime syndicate, we established that Joe Biden had a record of flying his drug and sex-addicted son Hunter around the world with him when he was vice president. The reason? Well, it's clear from the deluge of evidence on the laptop from hell that Joe was bringing Hunter along to sell access to the White House. He conclusively sold access to the Ukraine and China, but there's many more oligarchs and communists that he sold access to, and we promise we'll get to them in the next few episodes. But on this episode, we're going to prove two things. Hunter is very much involved in Joe's current bid for the presidency. That's number one. How? Well, we have it all recorded straight from Hunter's hard drive. This calls into question Joe's denials that he never spoke with Hunter about the Ukraine. And second, Joe Biden had a long and troubled history of lying to our faces. He's not the good guy who brings people together. He's a stone-cold bigot, and the evidence is damning. Once again, friends, hold on to your hats, because you're in for one hell of a ride.
But you, on the other hand, sent your son over there to get a job and work for a gas company that he had no experience with gas or nothing, in order to get access for the president. So you're selling access to the president just like he was. So
you're a damn liar, man. That's not true. And no one has ever said that. No one has proved that.
I see it on the TV.
You see it on the TV. No, I know you do. And by the way, that's why I'm not sedentary. I get up and no, let him go. Let him go. Look, the reason I'm running is because I've been around a long time and I know more than most people know. And I can get things done. That's why I'm running. And you want to check my shape on, let's do push-ups together here, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do. Let's take an IQ test, okay?
All right. It looks like you don't have any more backbone than Trump does when you're selling.
Any other questions? I set up my son to work in an oil company.
There is a photo of you golfing with your son Hunter and his business partner Devin Archer. Do you stand by your statement that you did not discuss any of your son's overseas business?
Yes, I stand by that statement.
Mr. Vice President,
Mr. Vice President, how many times have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas business dealings?
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
Did you and your father ever discuss Ukraine?
No. As I said, the only time was after a news account. It wasn't a discussion in any way.
And it's a fair amount of work, but it's not, we now know what we need to do in every state and what it will cost and how we do it. So it's really about pulling the trigger if we decide we want to do it.
When would you have to do that?
It's a while. So, and again, it kind of depends on what the exact approach is and who it is and who's, not just who the platform is, but who else is running. Like, there's a few decision points along the way, but it could be as late as, like, spring.
My question is, would you have to make that decision to pull the trigger
of being on the ballot before people
before the either party nomination.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I mean, you could. You can pull it late. Your dad was at all intrigued by it. We could figure out a way to facilitate. I could fly John out, and it could just be off the record. Face to face. It could be if that's not of interest, we could get a couple of political advisors together to talk about it. Like, there's different ways to approach it depending on if you had any interest.
Yeah. Well, look, I think that number one, that it's going to be. This is all me, not him. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that it's going to be very difficult for him not to run. Because I think that whether it's the party or whether it's people like you, to tell you the truth, Greg, the overall objective here is to stop not only Donald Trump, but to stem the tide of what Donald Trump represents in the political process for the future of this country, which to me is way more dangerous than I ever thought that it possibly could be. And my concern is I kind of dropped out of this for. Let's you and I have one more discussion after I talk to him. I'm going to be with him tomorrow and through Saturday. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to New York with him for a couple campaign events he's doing in upstate, and then down to the city for some fundraiser for somebody. And so, let me just. You don't know this, but let me talk to him. And I think that there has to be a couple meetings before there's ever a meeting between principals.
Yeah.
And so, but I really appreciate the call because, kind of to me, I've always said to him, whether it was Bloomberg or Kasich or anybody.
geez, the reason I was able to stay sequestered in my home is because some black woman was able to stack the grocery shelf. Where is that, people are figuring out that whether you have a mental problem, disease, it's a disease of the brain. True international effort to pressure